The Liza Destiny, the vessel from which oil production and storage will be concentrated in the beginning, arrived at the end of August, 3 weeks ahead of schedule. Oil production is expected to now begin in December. At a press conference at NCN Studios in Georgetown, Dr. Mark Bynoe explained why the first 1,000,000 barrels of oil will be offloaded to ExxonMobil.
ExxonMobil is not only a lifter, they're not only the operator, but they also have refineries. My understanding is the first lift often comes with a fair amount of impurities. Impurities in your crude can affect the price that you get for that crude, which will not only impact that batch, but it could impact subsequent batches. So it would make sense for Exxon to take that first lift, which it will then process within its refineries, so that the quality of the crude or the integrity of the crude can be preserved going forward.
And it's not just Exxon that comes first. Its partners, the Chinese and the American company Hess, are next in line. After that, Guyana will be able to get its first batch for sale. Dr. Bynoe explained the difference between first oil and first lift.
People often are associating first oil with first lift. What first oil means, that's when the first set of oil is coming from the wells into the FPSO, right? It will start building up, and then when the FPSO, which is the vessel that's out there that will store the oil, or the tanker, whatever you want to call it, then you will have your transporting vessels that will now, because remember the FPSO is a stationary vessel in the ocean that is just taking on the oil. When you reach up to 1,000,000 barrels, the transporting vessels will now come, and the FPSO will offload the 1,000,000 barrel to the transporting vessels, which will then take that oil, whether it be to refineries or wherever. It is not Guyana's main concern what happens once the fuel gets to the transporting vessel, and I'll tell you why. As I mentioned earlier, we are selling our crude on spot. So if you have 1,000,000 barrels, okay, we are selling it through a marketing agent. We're selling it there. Now, how that person that we're selling to transports it to wherever, that's their concern. That their issue is insurance, vessels, etc. We're not getting involved in that. We're just selling it on spot from the FPSO. Now, what I should say to you is that selling the crude has to happen like 2 months prior to our expected lift. So if you're expecting a lift in March, we have to start marketing our crude somewhere in January, assuming my math is right, is okay.
At his press conference, Dr. Bynoe also explained the quantities of oil that will be available as time goes on.
The anticipated batches by which lifts will occur would be 1,000,000 barrels per lift. But we all know this is not an exact science. So sometimes you may have 1,000,000 and a bit, which is why we have the reconciliation process that will occur. So if one has an overlift, then your next lift, hopefully that will be reconciled. So that's the process that we will work through. It is anticipated that as we ramp up, because you don't start with a new vehicle running at full speed. So that's why I indicated that even if first oil were to be realized in December, it will take about a month after that, because you're bringing each well up at a gradual pace, so you're not damaging the reservoir, and you are taking your time to ensure all systems are working efficiently. When we reach peak, however, and peak for us is anticipated at 120,000 barrels a day during operation, you then would anticipate a lift every 8 to 10 days.
To ensure that everything is above board, Guyana is looking for an independent third party.
To be able to preserve the integrity of the system and also to reduce potential value leakage is for us to have someone who could verify. So in the event there's any issue when the fuel is shipped, whether quality or quantity wise, we will be able to have our own evidence to push back against that.
Guyana is currently looking to hire marketing and commercial experts to sell its share of the oil.